All right, self-employed versus employee. Now, I would say that being a large business owner or operator is in a little different category than one of those things. So in my case, I'm self-employed. I don't have really don't have employees per se. I've got some contractors that do some stuff for me. Um, but so being an employee versus being self-employed. Um, so there are I'm not the type of person who would say, look, I'm never going to ever be an employee again. Um, but I will say that there are some perks that come with being self employed that I have grown to really enjoy, I guess you could say. And so if I'm faced with the idea of like doing without those things, um, it's like, yeah, I think I could get adjusted to being an employee again, but it might be a little bit of a struggle. Um, so there's a number of reasons why the employee thing is not typically maybe as good a fit for me as being self-employed. Now, being self-employed, there are certain challenges too. Like, I haven't grown to being a huge company, so you could say, well, am I really cut out to be like a giant business owner? And maybe not, but I do think I will be able to achieve more than I have to this point. But anyway, bunny trail there, I guess. So, flexibility of schedule is really nice. Now, there are times as a business owner, of course, where it is up to me to get things done. There's really no one else to fall back on per se. So there are some cases where maybe I do a shoot on the weekend, like on Saturday or, that kind of thing. But even there, it really is, for the most part, it does fall back onto me as far as like, look, I'm the owner of the business and I get to set the rules around when I work and how much I work. Now, of course, I do need to have the discipline to spend the time working that I need to work, but I get to kind of call the shots in terms of how many hours and what type of work that I do and so forth. So, um, it it is true. Like, there's a sense in which you always have a boss, right? Whether it's if someone's paying you, you have a boss essentially, right? So whether you are working for clients like I am, or more directly, or whether you are an employee and you're working for your boss, in which case essentially the boss is your client and you're working for them. So it's more like, do you want one client or do you want multiple clients, right? In some ways that's kind of how it is. Um, but yeah, a lot of workplaces are just relatively rigid in terms of schedule. And then another thing that's a fairly big deal for me is, um, on the whole, well, let me, I want to say this. I don't like the idea in general, okay, of, well, now okay, I'm reconsidering what I say on this topic. Um, anyway, so, would I never ever consider being an employee? Certainly not. No, I'm not a person who is like, I could never ever be an employee. I have been an employee. And I've learned things in different job environments. And I think that's probably one of the best things about being an employee is being able to learn things, on someone else's dime. I think it can be a fantastic opportunity. But, the flexibility, the option to get some of my clients are on commission basis, so to get paid on results rather than on directly on the amount of hours spent that I spend. There's some things like that really fit my personality, and in many ways, I would say better than being than an employee.